Okay, this is my video on top 10 mistakes that eBay and Amazon sellers make. Okay, a little bit of background. I've sold on eBay for 8 years before. And actually I've sold online for 13. I sold on eBay personally for 8 years from 2000 to 2008. Then I had a dropship business where I had about 100 different people sell for me on eBay and Amazon and other places for about 3 years. Not all at once, just different people at different times. And I also coached a lot of those people as well. And so I have a little bit of experience with this. I probably paid eBay $400,000 on my own in eBay fees and stuff because I did quite a bit of selling when I was on there. And I've probably done about 70,000 transactions online, I'm guessing, based on all the stuff I know I've sold. Okay, at any rate, getting that out of the way so you know that at least I have some credibility with this top 10 mistakes that eBay and Amazon sellers make. Number one, not maximizing profits. Okay, you should take the time to do a few completed item searches on your item that you're going to sell. Like if you're even out and about, like let's say you're looking for product like at Goodwill, garage sales, or whatever you're doing. I mean, or if you're a bigger seller, maybe you buy salvage items, overstocks, and clearance items, like from Genco or something like that. What you want to do is make sure that you can at least double your money, right? So you want to make sure you look at what the item is worth on eBay. Okay, and to do that, you need to do a completed item search. And to do a completed item search, you just do a regular search, and then you check the box on the left side menu for completed listings. Then what you do is you go over the right top, and there's a little pull-down menu, and sort by highest price first. Then what you do is you look, and there'll be 3 different colors on the prices: green, red, and black. The green ones mean sales, black I think means relist, red means no sale, and it didn't relist. So what you do is you look at the greens, and the highest green one is the highest price that that item sold for within the last 2 weeks, because they only keep the data for 2 weeks. So that gives you an idea of what you should sell it for. You should be not seeking to have the lowest price on eBay. You should be seeking, there's 2 types of customers. You got 2 customers on eBay. The one is looking for the lowest price, and the guy is looking for high quality. Okay, the guy that looks for high quality, when he sees a low price, he says maybe there's something wrong with that item. So you don't want to sell to the low price, the guy looking for the low price. You want to sell to the guy that's looking for high quality, because you make more profits. So what you do is you just price near what it sold for in the last 2 weeks at the highest price. You sell it maybe just under that. And then that way, if you list it at that price, that way you'll make a good amount of money when you sell it. Now, that's kind of my advice on that. Number 2, not creating an optimal title or category. I mean, not category. Well, actually, category too. Optimal title, category, and description. With the category and the title, actually with the category, I'll just start with that. The whole thing with that is, a lot of people tend to list the same item in the same category everybody else is listing it in, obviously. Now, sometimes it can get oversaturated, and there could be another category that's very similar that would work as well, and there's very few people in there, but there might be a good amount of traffic in there. And if you throw it in there, you might get a lot of traffic the other guys are not getting. Okay, that's something to consider. Another factor, like with the title, obviously you want to put the make and the model of whatever you're selling. And then also try to put as many keywords as you can into the title. And when you're doing that, a similar technique to what I mentioned on the category, you might notice when you're doing searches that certain keywords are not being used by other sellers for that same item, but it's a good keyword. Or it could be just a different spelling of a word that they're not spelling it. You know what I mean? Like, a space or a dash or something like that. That can be a big deal too. Not usually anymore, but I mean, like if there was no space sometimes between the words and then there's a space, and then let's say nobody's doing the no space one, just do the no space one. You might get a lot of traffic that the other guys are not getting. So that's something to consider. It's kind of like niching on keywords and niching on categories. It's like you're finding a category or a keyword that the other guys are missing that you can throw in there. And obviously you don't need to spend a lot of time on this if you got like thousands of items you're listing, of course. But you might see patterns with it where you can do 100 items, have a similar pattern on keywords. Or it could be just like if it's an item that you really want to make a lot of money on, you want to do it right. Obviously you want to price it right. You want to put it in the right category, or you might want to double categorize it, you know, in one of these categories the other guys are missing. See what I mean? And make sure you got the keywords right and such. And then obviously with the description, the same kind of thing. You know, you want to make sure you got everything in there, all the features and stuff. And I mean, if it's an item that's not a brand name item, you would want to make sure that you got some good advertising in there, good marketing, like such as listing the benefits, how it benefits the person, why are they really buying it? You know, you play into the story of why they're buying it, especially if it's not a brand name item. If it's a brand name item, everybody's already knows what it is. You don't need to market it because it's been, you know, millions of dollars have been put into marketing it already. You know, the Apple iPhone 5, you don't need to market it. You stick the name in the title and you're done. But I mean, if you're selling like some sort of real estate CD, of course you need to know how to market. So that's the whole thing. Sort of got on a little rabbit trail there. Okay, number 3, not finding a good source for product or getting desperate and paying too higher prices for product. Always take in consideration the price the item can sell for. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, let's say you're out at Goodwill, garage sale, or maybe you do auctions or whatever. You want to make sure that you have your smartphone with you, and you want to check out the pricing of the items you're looking at. And like I said, do the completed item search, sort by highest first, look for the greens. Then you'll know what it's worth, you know. And then you want to double your money at least, you know. If you sort by highest first, completed item, sort by highest first, it's sold for $50 and the guy's selling for 30, I wouldn't probably buy it. I mean, if it's like 20, 25, or even lower, then that's great. I mean, 30, you might do it because you want to do volume. Okay, then you're not going to make a lot. You might make $10 because you got to pay eBay money too. But you know, you see what I'm getting at. So, I mean, the ideal obviously is try to make at least double your money. If you can do more than that, great. You know, maybe you can make 5 times the money. You know, buy it for $5, sell for 50. You know what I mean? That's 10 right there. So, but so that's something to consider when you're out. You want to bring your smartphone with you and all that kind of stuff. Also, you know, you can use eBay to figure out Amazon pricing as well. Because sometimes you'll notice on Amazon there'll be pricing, and the guys will start getting a little pricing war, who has the lowest price. Don't play that game really. I mean, and then it makes it kind of hard for you to know how to price the item. You know what I mean? So a good thing to do is to go over to eBay, just see what people are willing to pay for it, because Amazon really doesn't have that feature. You can't go down to Amazon and see what somebody paid for an item last week. But I mean, I guess you could figure it out kind of by how Amazon prices, because Amazon prices usually in a really good place. But remember, you're not trying to price like Amazon, because Amazon's kind of like a Walmart. They're trying to go for the low price guy because they're going in volume. Okay, you're not going in volume. You're trying to niche and go for the high quality guy. So if Amazon's got a certain price, you don't necessarily need to have it as low as Amazon's. But you know, because of the fact that Amazon is so powerful and you're on their site, you might want to be pretty close to their price. So that's something to consider. And then also, like I said, if on eBay they're willing to pay a lot more money than what Amazon's showing it for, you might want to just go over to eBay and sell it there. You know what I mean? I mean, why waste your time on Amazon if that's the case? So you might want to list it on eBay and just go buy it on Amazon and ship it to your customer. I mean, that's another thing you could do. I did that for 2 years. I made like 2,000 items from Amazon. So let's see. Number 4, forgetting to relist the items that you just sold or did not sell. I mean, especially if you're in business and you're trying to make money regularly and you don't have a job, obviously you need to be consistent with your listings. Or if you really got a goal on a certain amount of money you want to make, you want to keep your listings going, especially if you have more than one of the item. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. So you want to try to automate as many things as possible on eBay. You can automate a lot of stuff. I mean, you'd be surprised at all the stuff you can automate. You can automate your feedback. You can automate your listings. You can automate pretty much anything on eBay, except for your emailing customers and stuff. That's about the only thing you can't automate. I mean, even that you can automate. I even had scripts on Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, they were kind of automated because I had a certain product I sold like thousands of. And I didn't want to have to answer the same question 100 times, so I actually had scripts that would look for certain keywords in the email and send them an auto response. So you can actually do that too. I mean, believe it or not, especially if you're selling the same item over and over and over, which I did a lot of when I was on eBay. Okay. I mean, the whole point is to keep your profits going. Okay, number 5, continually relisting an item that does not sell. Okay, this is a good way to lose money on eBay. I mean, I know now that eBay listing fees are low compared to what they used to be, but still, you're wasting your time, and you got opportunity costs of loss right there, because you're not spending the time, you're not spending a minute or 2 or 5 or 10 minutes to look at your item. What is wrong with my listing? Do a search on eBay. See what everybody else is doing. Maybe your price is like way off, or maybe your title is way off, or maybe your picture doesn't even show up when people look at it. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be something really simple like that. It could be something sort of like a no-brainer, lame-brainer thing you did, and you're just wasting your time relisting the thing, and all you had to do is spend 5 minutes to see what was wrong with it. You know, and believe it or not, you could actually have an item priced too low. I actually had one time, I kept relisting an item, and it wouldn't sell very well, and I ended up doubling the price, and it sold right away. So, I mean, sometimes it could be that, because there's no cheapskates looking for the item, only the quality customers are looking for it. So then when they see the low price, they're like, well, maybe something's wrong with it, you know, and they don't want to buy it. Believe it or not, I mean, that's how this stuff works. It's not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. You know what I mean? So that's something to really think about. You know, you don't want to waste your time, and especially if you have to, you know, if you have to continually relist it, just throw it in the store. You know, sometimes you can get customers in the store that you don't get when you list it on eBay directly. Number 6, not properly packing an item, getting insurance, or forgetting to get tracking. Especially with these days with PayPal, you want to make sure you're really doing everything, you know, crossing your T's, dotting your I's. This is a good way. This is where you can lose all your money, is right here. Okay, if the item breaks because of poor packaging, you know, like especially if you're selling guitars. I used to sell guitars. You don't want to pack those bad. Those, like the number 2 item that breaks when you ship it is a guitar. Number 1 was like flowers. So, I mean, it's because they're so long and they're just like this thin wood piece, you know, it can easily break, you know what I mean? So, the headstock can break off. The whole thing is you want to package it properly. You want to make sure you get insurance, especially if you use FedEx. FedEx is really good about paying their claims. UPS isn't so good about paying their claims unless you like pack it ridiculously like they claim, you know, like 2 inches around it and stuff. USPS, they pay their claims, but sometimes you have to nag them forever. I actually had to nag them like for half a year to get paid once. The FedEx is the best. I mean, especially if it's under $100, they'll just pay you right away. They won't even look at it sometimes, the claim. They'll just pay you. So you want to make sure you have good packaging. I would recommend FedEx. Even though everybody else uses UPS, I actually recommend FedEx, because if you have a FedEx account, you can get great discounts on the shipping. I mean, you can get like 30% off if you have an account. If you don't have an account, it costs a lot. You have an account, it's like a lot cheaper than you expect. And they really pay their claims too. That's the really important thing, especially if you have stuff that breaks. Another thing is if you don't have a tracking number, the guy could just claim that he didn't get it, and then you lose the money. You know, so I mean, you got to think about all this stuff when you're shipping stuff out. You want to make sure you get tracking, insurance, especially if it's an expensive item. Make sure you get insurance. If you're selling these little cheap items for $5, of course you don't need to get insurance and all that. I mean, especially if it's something that doesn't cost you anything, you can just reship it out. You know, so you have to take all this stuff into consideration. Number 7, learn from your mistakes. Okay, a lot of people don't want to learn from their mistakes. They just list something and they don't want to think about it. They think they're selling it. They think they're done. But, I mean, you already walked 10 miles, right? Why not walk 1 more mile? I mean, seriously. You could double your money, triple your money, your profits, I mean, not your money, but your profits. If you just think a little bit. Just ask yourself, what am I doing wrong with my listing? How can I improve my listing? It might be going right, and this is usually the biggest killer. The thing's going right. You're making some money, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm making money. It's good, you know? But really, why don't you just look at it, man? Maybe you can double your profits if you just look at it and price it a little differently or do a couple things. That item that's doing good, you need to look at it more. Well, how can you expand it? How can you sell more of it? How can you get it in more categories? That is how you maximize your money. And then how can I automate a lot of this stuff? You know, and this can go with Amazon as well as eBay. I mean, there might be multiple listings of the same item on Amazon. You don't even know it. And you're selling this item like crazy on one listing, and there might be 5 different listings for that same item on Amazon. I've seen that before. You could list it on all 5 of them and even get more sales. You know, I mean, silly stuff like that. Or just play some pricing games on each one and see which one does better. Number 8, not answering your email. That's a big one too. A lot of people, they try to avoid answering email. Maybe you miss it for a couple days and you miss out on a sale. Or you could have a problem and you didn't solve it fast enough and you end up getting a dispute or a pissed off customer, something you could have solved real quickly. and I'll do number 9 in just a second.